Hey, I'm Tom, and this is TRBCollectibles, where I go to yard sales, estate sales, and thrift stores. I buy items for a low price and then resell them on eBay for a decent profit. Today I wanted to not only talk about the items that I recently sold, but also about their profit margins depending on the type of items and how long it takes to sell them, and if you're willing to wait to get it. The very first item that I wanted to talk about was the Anthony Robbins DVDs that I picked up about 6 months ago in that confusing community sale video. Let us take us back. Here's me. But as I was walking back to my car, somebody had their pickup truck and they had unloaded the flatbed full of different personal items. You can clearly tell that they were just trying to clear out their house. So I had gone through it. There was a lot of plates, a lot of cups, a lot of blankets. But I actually had found this Anthony Robbins set of inspirational DVDs. The bottom set was sealed, the top was not. It also came with the VHS tape and the personal journal, which was also sealed, which was really nice. I have never sold anything Anthony Robbins before. I know a lot of people look to him for guidance, and so I thought I would look up the DVDs. I did, and I knew I could make a little money, so they didn't have any pricing on anything. So I asked how much did they want for everything, and the nice thing is that it came in its original box that it was shipped in, which is more than likely what I will ship this in. They charged me $5. I said, sure, no problem. I'm likely to get anywhere between $20 to $40 plus the shipping on top. So the sale overall wasn't fantastic, but I did find something that's easy to ship, easy to list, and I know somebody will come along and buy these items. Welcome back. That confusing community sale really didn't have what I was looking for, but I was fortunate to find that series set of Anthony Robbins for $5, which was the only item that I walked away with at that sale. And that was 6 months ago. I went ahead and I shelved the item after I immediately listed it and sat on it for 6 months, as I mentioned. I bought it for $5 and I sold it for $37.49 plus $6.34 for shipping. Did it take up room in the store? It did. But is it a learning experience? Of course it is. Because I was fortunate enough to make money on this investment. A lot of times you'll buy something and then sell it 6 months later at a loss. So I consider this a win. Was my profit margin huge? No. But was it somewhere that I was comfortable with and I was okay with the outcome? Of course, I made money. But going forward, I'll learn to figure out if I should buy that item again, how I should sell it. Maybe I should lower the price faster. Maybe I should run a promotion or a markdown sale. Or maybe I shouldn't buy the item at all. Every item that you buy, if you haven't experienced it before, is a learning experience. And I was fortunate enough to make a profit on a learning experience. Speaking of looking things up, the next couple items is something that I would have never gotten into unless I looked it up in the first place. And that's cross-stitch patterns. Yes, cross-stitch patterns. I never really had an interest in doing anything with cross-stitch patterns, and then I realized there is a huge market of people who enjoy cross-stitching. The very first item that I sold with cross-stitch this week was one singular item that I purchased for $1.50. I sold it for $24.99, and I sold it for $13.90 just based on the weight of what it was. That profit margin is incredible. I was very pleased with it. The nice thing is about cross-stitch patterns, they're very light compared to this one. This is a little bit heavier, so I believe it shipped at over 2 pounds. But I also do combined shipping on my lighter cross-stitch patterns, which is the next one that I'm about to list. I'll put it somewhere on the screen. I went ahead and I sold all of these for $4.50, or roughly $1.50 a piece, and I sold all 3 of them for $54.97 plus $15.30 shipping. Now I did go ahead and cut the margin on the end of the shipping because I do combine. Since they all fit into a padded envelope, I went ahead and charged them a padded envelope rate rather than $15.30. Now you're going to also notice that I put a SKU number of the cross-stitch pattern in the photos themselves. I recently picked up an entire collection of cross-stitch patterns, and I mean a lot of cross-stitch patterns. I'm going to talk about it going down the road because I'll be selling cross stitch for a good amount of time from the time out. But in a couple weeks, I'm going to release a video describing what I picked up, how much I picked it all up for, and how I'm sorting through it, and how I plan to list and sell all of it. So be sure to keep your eyes out right here on TRB Collectibles in a couple weeks, where I'm going to go over my cross stitch plan on how I'm going to make a good amount of profit off of a very good investment. The very next item I want to go back into is something that I've talked about in the weeks past, and that's going back into media. I've been going harder and harder as far as looking into media, looking it up, trying to figure out new categories, trying to figure out new artists, understanding niche categories and artists, because they could be more valuable than others. If you think of an artist being more popular, they're going to overproduce their artwork, right? Which could decrease the value because there's so many of them. But if you have those niche singers, those niche artists that you're going to be looking for, their stuff becomes more collectible because their fan base is more dedicated. Case in point, I picked up a couple of Insane Clown Posse CD sets, and I recently sold one of them, the Bang Pow Boom series set on CD. Now they have a very niche, huge following and huge audience that enjoys all of their content. Now I have not listened to it myself, but I do know of their fan base. So I went ahead and I picked this CD set up for $2, and I went ahead and I sold it at a best offer for $42 plus $3.19 shipping. That margin, you can't beat it. I went ahead and I put it in a box rather than a poly mailer so I wouldn't crack the jewel case. And I made sure that it got to the buyer very nicely because of that profit margin. I was happy to give them a box, and that didn't adjust my shipping cost at all. I was very pleased as far as with this media flip, just based on a category that I didn't know, and now I will now know to look for the Insane Clown Posse going forward. The next item that I did want to talk about was something that we talked about a couple weeks ago. Do you remember that estate sale that I went to where they were practically giving things away? And I found that software? No, not really. Let me go ahead and take you back on eBay. One of the first items that we would see was that woodworking machine right as you enter the property. That was a very nice machine for somebody to pick up. I had no way of bringing that home, but a little later on in the day, I went ahead and I found the software that belongs to that machine without realizing it until I got home. So I went ahead and I picked up the CAD Cam 24, version 24 and the Express version 21. This goes for about $180 to $200. This goes for about $120 to $150 because this is the software that runs that machine. But I managed to pair this with some software that I found, pretty much PC games, and I'm talking early 90s PC games that I picked up for $5. I had already sold the games. I still have these available. All for $5. I was really surprised by that. So that CAD software in the yellow case that we talked about that I could probably get $120 for it, I got $120 for it. I went ahead and I put it up and I sold it at a best offer for $120. I had it listed at $150 and they paid $5.65 shipping on that software. Did I know anything about anything with computer wood etching software? No. But do I utilize the eBay app to my fullest advantage? Of course. Always make sure you're looking up items, and I say this in hundreds and thousands of times because you never know unless you look it up. And I was fortunate that I did. I took $1 and I turned it into $120. And I still have the other software that I could potentially make over $200. Which, like we talked about the Anthony Robbins DVDs, since it doesn't take up a lot of room, I'm happy to sit on it all the way through the holidays. But I expect that it will sell before the holidays. Now, with the CAD software, I was very pleased. I will definitely be on the lookout like I will be for the Insane Clown Posse, because those are niche categories and there's specific niches that are looking for these specific items, and when you find them, you can really make a good profit margin on them. Now, the very last item that I did want to talk about today, it is not my overall winner. The CAD Software is. That is the highest margin that I have on my video today. But it being the Halloween season, and us being 2 days away from Halloween, I thought I'd end it with me selling A Haunting Seasons 1 through 4. Yeah, I sold some DVDs. I went ahead and I picked up this whole set of DVDs for $2.67, and I went ahead and I sold it for $49.99 plus $5.08 shipping. Hey, $3 to $50 on a spooky DVD, especially during the Halloween season, you can't beat it. Do you know why this probably sold in October? It's October. People are looking for spooky stuff. Halloween-y fun. You know, you wanna be a part of the season, and this is what it's all about when you wanna have those specific items in that specific time frame, because you can make a little bit more profit. Yep, it's very true. If you hold items for specific seasons, they are worth more to those people that are looking for them in that specific season. That's why a lot of the year I will hold on to video games, and I will hold on to certain electronics, and I will list them in November and December, and I could probably get 10 to 25% more than the regular year. If this was a regular year, it would have probably taken me a lot longer to sell these seasons than it would be during Halloween. And I got my full asking price of $50 on my $3 item. You can't beat it. So it's all about figuring out that time frame, how you want to list your items, when you want to list your items, and trying to squeak out the most amount of profit that you can, depending on the time of year and depending on what people are looking for at any time of year. If you enjoyed today's video, be sure to click that like button. If you had a good time, be sure to share this video with a friend and click that subscribe button. If you had any questions or comments, please be sure to leave them down below. And as always, my name's Tom, and this has been TRB Collectibles.